Circa 7000 BCE, a cold dawn breaks over the highlands of what is now southern Peru. A young man sits on the ground, his back pressed against a stone wall still warm from yesterday's sun. His name is lost to time. What is not lost is his fear. His hands tremble. His head throbs with a pain that has not slept in days. Across from him, an elder kneels, calm, deliberate, holding a sharpened obsidian blade. There is no anesthesia. No prayer for comfort. Only the certainty that something must be done. This is not punishment. This is not ritual theater. This is surgery. The elder places a hand on the man's skull and begins to scrape. For ancient humans, drilling a hole into the skull, what we now call trepanation, was not madness. It was medicine. It was belief. It was desperation colliding with hope. Long before modern hospitals, long before germ theory or anatomy textbooks, humans across the world from the Andes to Neolithic France, from ancient Egypt to Central Asia performed this same act. Archaeologists have found trepan skulls dating back more than 9,000 years, many showing clear signs of healing. These people survived. Some lived for years afterward. Which forces us to confront an unsettling truth: they believed this worked. In these early societies, the human head was sacred and dangerous. Pain, seizures, hallucinations, violent mood changes, these were not seen as neurological conditions. They were invasions. Spirits trapped inside the skull. Pressure building where it did not belong. A hole, they believed, was a release. A doorway. But belief alone does not explain the precision. In the Peruvian highlands, particularly among the ancestors of the Inca, trepanation reached a level that startles modern surgeons. By 500 survival rates in some regions exceeded 70%, higher than many battlefield surgeries during the American Civil War. The edges of skull openings were smoothed. Cuts avoided major blood vessels. Infection, while not understood, was clearly minimized. These were not random acts. They were learned techniques, passed down through generations who watched closely who lived and who died. The stakes were always human. A warrior struck by a sling stone. A child suffering relentless seizures. A leader whose visions blurred the line between prophecy and illness. When pain threatened survival or stability, the skull became the battlefield. And there was no turning back once the blade touched bone. The sound mattered. Ancient accounts describe the scraping, not cutting, to avoid shattering the skull. Too fast, and the patient would bleed out. Too slow, and shock would claim them first. The elders' entire reputation rested on the steadiness of their hands and the trust of their people. Across the world, remarkably similar scenes unfolded. In Neolithic Europe, circular skull openings appear in burial sites, sometimes worn as amulets after death. In ancient China, trepanation appears in medical texts linked to pressure injuries. In Egypt, while rarer, skull surgeries coexist with some of the earliest anatomical observations ever recorded. Different cultures. Same conclusion. The mind was powerful. Dangerous. And sometimes, it needed to be opened. As the sun rises higher over the Peruvian hills, the scraping stops. Blood pools, then slows. The hole is complete. The elder steps back. The young man is alive. Barely. But breathing. What happens next is the part history cannot fully capture. Did the pain fade? Did the seizures stop? Did the spirits leave? We only know this: centuries later, his skull would be found. Bone grown back around the edges. Proof that he lived long enough for his body to heal. Trepanation forces us to abandon the comforting idea that ancient humans were simply ignorant. They observed. They experimented. They remembered outcomes. They risked everything on the belief that suffering could be confronted, not with surrender, but with action. This was not cruelty. It was care, sharpened by survival. And as the elder cleans the blade and the village waits in silence, one truth remains as unsettling today as it was then: humanity has always been willing to open the body in order to save the soul.